After this off at Brands, it was time to make a new nose cone for the last race at Mallory. I'd made a plug and mould back in 2017 when I rebuilt the car, but I had to dig it out from the depths of the garage. It had been back there a while, so it took a bit of doing. Finally. The first job was to give it a good clean. It was not that dirty considering. Next job was to give the mould 3 good coats of wax to help the nose pop out nice and cleanly. I then pre-cut the chopped strand mat to size, so when I laid it up, things would be a bit quicker. I used 400 GSM mat, overlapped at the corners for some added rigidity, as the goal was strength without too much weight. I made a cradle to hold the mould, and then gave it a last polish for luck. I mixed up the wide gel coat, then used a brush to give it 2 coats. Badly, it turns out, as it was quite patchy. Once the gel coat had flashed off, I mixed up the resin. Then, again using a brush, I applied a generous coat of resin. I then positioned the first layer of the pre-cut chopped strand mat. I found it quite fiddly getting the mat in the right place and with sufficient overlap, but with some perseverance I got there. Once I'd got the first layer in place, I spent some time with the brush and roller to ensure the mat was fully impregnated with resin. I tried to make sure I got right into the corners. I then repeated the process with the second layer of mat and again gave it a good going over with the brush and roller. In hindsight, I probably didn't spend enough time on this part of the process, but will in future. All I needed to do now was let it cure overnight and then just pop it out of the mould. Next morning, with it fully cured, it was time to pull the nose cone. I'd had trouble getting the nose cone free of the mould back in 2017, so I drilled some holes in the mould so I could blow compressed air in to help it release. Unfortunately, it was less than successful, so I had to resort to getting the grinder out. Once outside, it was a case of carefully cutting the bottom of the mould away to release the nose. It was a slow process as I went carefully to try and avoid damaging the mould or the new nose too much. But eventually, the bottom section was free and the nose came out easily. You can see the areas where the gel coat was a bit uneven and thin. But after trimming it to fit, a bit of filler and a coat of paint, I'm pretty pleased with the end result. I wonder how long it'll stay like that.